my Scrappy friends, it's Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and today I'm creating a layout for the Confessions of the Paper Addict design team. And I've started off with a mixed media background. So I've got this kind of cream coloured sheet. It is probably approximately A5 size, so maybe 4 inches by 8 inches, I think. They're actually... Backstory, I've actually got a massive stack of these. My mum just gave them to me the other week. They were printed or collected 40 odd years ago for her wedding invitations, and they're such nice thick quality cardstock. She said it was a shame to throw them away, but she didn't need it for anything, so I have borrowed them. And they are now going to be featured on my scrapbooking pages, either like this as an actual piece that I'm going to be using on my page, or I'll just also use them to back photographs and things like that as well, to be like the matte for that, because I love putting like a thin piece of white as the first layer for my photos. And, you know, cream, white, I'm just trying to embrace it here. Why not? So, side note. So yeah, they're about... 4 inches by 8 inches, these papers, and I'm just adding a little bit of random mixed media around the edge because I've got this luscious wood grain piece of paper that is from the Legendary collection from Coco Vanilla Studios, and I'm going to put this piece of paper, obviously you can see there it's a little bit off to the side because it's not a full square, it's a rectangle, my original cream. But I really like the look of that. So I'm just trimming off a little bit of the middle so that I can use this excess wood grain for something else in the future, because it is just too gorgeous to not gut the paper first. 99% of the time I gut my paper, but there is the small occasional time when I don't. I know Katie is less likely to gut her paper. She has a lot more luscious pattern paper than I do. And I tend to gut mine always because I can't bear to waste it. And both of these papers are really thick, so I'm not worried about, not having the stability or having the thin paper underneath. So once I have lined up the cream paper, I'm just going to stick it with just normal sticky tape. Washi tape would also work, but washi tape is off my desk, whereas sticky tape was just sitting on the window ledge. So I'm just going to stick all the way around that, and then I'll be ready to go. So there is what's now my 12 by 12 cardstock and my beautiful gumboot cut file, which of course you will find in the Etsy shop over at Confessions of a Paper Addict. I will pop a direct link to the gumboot cut file, but I will also pop a link to the Confessions of a Paper Addict Etsy store in the description box down below. And these are, the fabulous gumboots. Now, I've used these once already because I just love them. A very long time ago I used these, probably 2 whole years ago, I reckon, since I've last used these gumboots. And I just love them. So obviously I have boys. So when thinking about the florally type of pictures, I don't really get concerned about the fact that there are flowers on the page, but I do like to think of the colors. I didn't want to have this too, pink and girly as such, because I do have boys, and you can see there in my photograph that it is quite a dark photo as well. So that's why the Legendary collection was just perfect to mat this cut file and for these photos, because they've got such nice, bright, almost like primary colors happening in the collection. So I do need to mention that the green that I'm using is almost a direct color match to the green that is featured in the Legendary collection, but that particular piece of paper is actually from from Pebbles, from Family, Lovely Family. It's not from Coco Vanilla Studios anyway, because it was a scrap that I had already cut into, and that saved me from cutting an additional new piece of the Legendary collection. I could keep that as a full 12 by 12, which, makes my heart happy. So I matted the flowers in reds and oranges and yellows, and then I did the gumboots in the full green, and then I did a few little pops of that sort of blue that's that it's not a bright blue. It's not as bright as the paint that I've used, that's for sure. And I just popped little pops of that blue along the edging of the gumboots, and I think that was a really nice addition. So now to get embellishing, and I'm using a few bits and pieces from the Legendary collection, but I've actually almost run out of ephemera from this collection, so some of it is also from my stash. I've mostly only got the sticker sheet left of this collection, so I've kind of got to throw in a few other bits and pieces that I can find in my own stash now to be able to take advantage of the beautiful papers, but yeah, no ephemera. So I really wanted to get this orange tag in that I'm working with right now because of the colour of the orange in the flowers that I used, but it is so bright, so I'm making sure that I tuck quite a lot of it underneath the photograph, like pretty much most of it is going underneath the photo, and then I'm offsetting it with that little piece as well, the circle piece with the text on it, happy days, because that blue is such a perfect color match to the blue in the gumboots. Again, it's just going to dull down that orange because that orange is quite intense. So I'm kind of making 3 little clusters here. I've got the wild one cluster, I've got this bunting and compass cluster, and then I've got the tags cluster as well. And there's not much more to them, to be honest. I'm going to get a little bit of these tiny word stickers because I really love the phrases on them. They're all about being silly and being crazy, because the story is that I picked up Jack from daycare one day, and he often puts his gumboots on at daycare if it's been raining. He has them in his school bag and he puts them on himself if it's been raining because he is obsessed. And when we came out of daycare, there was this mammoth swimming pool sized puddle on the ground. And he was already wearing his gumboots, and he looked at me and he said, "Mum, can I go in?" And I said, "Yeah, mate, go on." And his face just dropped. He did not expect me to say yes. He thought I'd say, no, we've got to get home, we've got to get dinner, or you're going to get all wet or whatever. But I was like, yeah, mate, go in. And so he kind of walked in at first and just sort of walked and sort of splashed around a little bit. And then he looked at me again. He said, "Can I jump?" I said, "Mate, go for it." And oh, did he ever. He just went nuts. He was jumping as big as he could and kicking the water and having a field day. And yes, he was drenched, but he had a blast. So all the tiny word stickers that I'm trying to use are things like "my crazy kid" and "just be yourself" and "oh, what a character," because he was definitely lapping it up. Because in the meantime, my other child did not want a bar of it. He did not want to get wet. He did not want to get dirty. He was staying as far away as possible over at the car because he did not want anything to do with it. So 2 very different children. And so, yeah, this concept of just being a larrikin definitely worked for Jack's attitude towards this puddle jumping. So I'm just, as I said, building up those clusters. So down at the bunting and compass, I popped that little flag and those 2 word phrases. And then over here, there's a big big bright red excavator truck in the background of the photographs, which is just So on the bottom left photo, that's all been covered because I've put the top photo on top. And luckily in that first photo, I kind of missed the excavator. It's only just peeking in the top right-hand corner of that top photo. But the photo here that I'm working with now, the bottom right-hand photo, it's really prominent, and it's just like, "Hello, I'm an excavator." So I decided I'd place a few strategically placed embellishments on top of it just to try and tone down that bright red that kind of was drawing your eye a little bit away from the really dark photos, because otherwise Jack and the puddle is kind of all the same color, and it is kind of hard to see or to pick out Jack in amongst the water and the concrete road and all of that. So I'm happier with that now that I've covered that up. And then I'm just about finished. I for one of the first times I think I've only done this in the last few layouts. I haven't popped my photos up on foam. I always do, but same problem. The last DT layout I did for COAPA, I didn't stick my photos up on foam because I wanted the photos underneath the cut file, and I didn't stick the cut file up on foam. So I've done the same thing again this time around, and I've left them all stuck flat to the page. So because of that, I did pop quite a few of the embellishments up on foam because I still think having that dimension and having the different sort of perspectives to look at really catches your eye and helps draw your attention to different sections of the page. So I'm really happy with how this is looking. I'm basically finished, and I actually get a phone call from my sister in 1 second, and I'm using my phone to record this video, so it does cut out. All I did off camera was pop on my title, so 1, 2, 3 jump. I liked that for 2 reasons. 1, because he did often say it when he was running up to jump, and 2, because of the fact that I've got 1, 2, 3 photos. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, so here is my layout. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed watching this process and checking out how these layouts came together. Don't forget to check the description box for all the links you might need, and I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.